I just say all that over again.
Yeah. Y'all can redo that.
Well, with the negotiated settlement at 50%.
He is ready to go in. You want me to let him in now?
Not yet. I don't know that. Well, I tell you, our visitation with him is gonna be short, as far as I'm concerned.
I'm not on your committee, but I'll ask some questions if you don't mind.
For sure. No, I just, trying trying to get this thing settled, we just keep waiting along. What is it, 6 weeks we've been meeting since we talked? Now, my question is, and this won't jeopardize the settlement. Suppose we go ahead and pay 50% of the outstanding debt, okay? And that's the negotiated amount.
Doc, here's where your issue comes in. We don't actually have to pay any more of this.
No, we should have paid
The
it anyway.
TPA, which is the settlement money, the block of money that they gave us, when they get this signed agreement, they will write those checks. So, yeah, and technically, we should have enough money to cover these others at about 14,000 at full cost. And at this point, I'd say pay those, the ones that you have at 50%, give us an estimated time on when they will be paid, because we're not getting paid, they will be paid. And that's your next meeting, when he's got that signed agreement, and they're, because I don't think it would take him 24 hours to pay.
Well, we talked about this morning. My suggestion is that just like what your and our conversation was, for him to go ahead and tie up whatever loose ends he needs to tie. We don't need another meeting because they just produce more of this. And that he can finish up, let us know at the times when he does. The county will go ahead and pursue our options on finishing this up, and that will be to restart this conversation. And in other words, we'll just let him know that we're pursuing our options, and we'll get in touch with him either by email or certified mail. And if we have any more questions or we need to do any more business, that's my.
I think that's what we need to do. I'm tired of listening to it.
Yeah, we're not doing any good, and it's been more than 6 weeks. It's been
longer than that. We've had 3 meetings.
Yeah,
at least
and
2
it
weeks
seems
apart.
like when we set another one, there's always
there's always an if then. Of course.
Can I let him in?
Yeah, let's go ahead and let him in and get that.
Mr. Nichol, can you hear us?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. How are you?
Doing fine. How are you today?
I'm good.
I'm good.
Can you give us an update?
I'm sorry?
I'm sorry?
Mr. Nichol, can you give us an update?
I got this. We went through this list yesterday with Kelly, and there's an email summarizing that discussion. To be really blunt, I'm really confused by the spreadsheet and some of the stuff on here. I thought there were there are things on here that I want to make sure are accurate. I don't think they all are, so I have to just go through this bullet point list and verify if this is all accurate or not. If it is, these are smaller claims that just get paid as payable. If it's not, then I'll just call Kelly back and make sure we're on the same page. Because we've got dual spreadsheets, and I'm just like, I was just really confused after going through this yesterday, because I did not think there might have been a couple duplicate payments, because it was as easier to just pay it again. There was very small numbers. They try to sort through it. But like there's do you have the memo from Kelly?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, like Doctor's Health Group still 15 claims unpaid. I did not think that was the case. Those are very small claims. If it's the case, I'll just pay them like as soon as I verify that. Same thing with the E-Stark emergency physicians. I mean, bottom line is I need to verify that these outliers were really not paid. If they weren't, if I can confirm that they weren't, then
No.
this payment is payable. It'll be a third list sent to the TPA. And then Care Centric and Cigna. They have both, since we last talked, said basically, we have an agreement. I'm just waiting for this signature, this approval. If I don't like sending money to a provider that's saying I'll take 50%, to turn around and send them 100%. I just want to have one more conversation with you about that. I thought that given the back and forth, if I just send the 50%, even though I don't have the signature from them, then in my world, they've agreed to it, and that's I'll get the signature later, and we're done. If they come back and say, well, we never had a signature, send the rest, then I can just deal with that at that time. There's my thought on those for both Cigna and Care Centric.
All right, Mr. Nichol, as we spoke 2 weeks ago, the county is ready to finish this and move on. If you will, in the future, if you will communicate with the finance department over your progress. We won't schedule any more of these meetings, and the county is going to explore our options over what we can do to finish this up. And then we'll be in touch with you either by email or first class mail or certified mail. And I know at some point in the future we'll be asking you for complete documentation over all the funds that were spent out of the Gerber settlement money, and then the county, like I said, we'll explore what our options are to finish it up, and then we'll go from there.
Well, what does that mean?
Well, I'm not sure what it means because we don't know what our options are, but we're not progressing as we had wished.
Yeah, I don't believe it's accurate. I don't believe it's been loose ends. I really don't. But there's nothing like the. I don't even know. I feel like I'm wasting my breath because, quite frankly, I feel like you just think that I'm playing games or something. I'm not. I mean, I feel like I have taken on a gigantic problem for Mississippi County and solved it. There's a few outliers left that I wasn't even aware of until yesterday. I don't know why, but it's not hard to make mistakes when you've got different claims being paid different ways. That's flowing through me, and I'm having some sense of the TPA to pay, others paid from the settlement funds. But you don't need to send a certified letter and ask for a complete accounting. You're getting a complete accounting from me. I don't know why. I mean, I get that you're frustrated. But I did not ask for this job. The county tried to do this and couldn't. So Jeremy came to me and said, "Can you help us take care of this?" And I think I have. I get that you're frustrated, but there's very few claims left. And I just have to make sure I'm not double paying anything, because according to what Kelly and her office came up with, they believe that some of these were paid twice.
Yeah,
All I
and
want to do is make sure what's left.
yeah, we're not asking you to stop anything that's in progress right now. That's what I said. Just go ahead and finish things up as best you can and inform the finance department on any new activity that you've accomplished, and then the county will see what we're able to do to move into the future. But that's fine. Yeah, we're not asking you to quit. There's just no point in having another meeting after this, and we'll just finish this up.
Okay. I will finish this up with Kelly.
Great. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Bye.
Well, I like to say one thing. The spreadsheet's not correct. He's the one that made the spreadsheet. Is that not correct? Kelly, didn't he give us this information?
He gave us the original spreadsheet with the 1,200 claims, and then he gave us the spreadsheets that had payments on it. We documented that, and that was left over. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you that. I mean, I have missed a couple of committee meetings, but that we're down to $63,000 is, I mean, I'm
Well, that was
impressed.
what I thought, that we actually had made some progress.
I mean, last I heard, we were
And he said in there, he's gonna go ahead
Paid
and
the
pay.
50%, so.
And if they come back and say that we are more than he'll work on.
I didn't hear that part, but I don't hear well, but that's what we talked about before we came on. Let's pay when the time comes, we can't just dole out money, but get them to pay the 50% of the outstanding balance. And then we'll go from there. Get this.
No, he said
Yeah,
he
that's
was
what he
gonna
said
go
he
ahead and
would.
do it even without
Yeah.
a signature.
Yeah. And worst case scenario, they come back and want more money and we pay them more money, but
Yeah.
yeah,
He
there's.
basically said the same thing we
Yeah.
talked about before that. He's got an agreement, a verbal agreement. It's in writing, it just hasn't been signed.
Yeah, and he's gonna
How
pay
long,
all
oh
that.
Lord, how long?
So I
Doc,
think,
Fire away.
I have an opinion, I'm not on the committee, I'm sorry, but going back to the very beginning of this thing, when the settlement was made, if I understand it right, Gerber agreed on the settlement amount. And so there's a pot out there. It probably went to the insurance company he represents.
Yes, sir.
He has been taking all this time trying to negotiate all of those accounts down. That's the reason it has taken forever, because, and I assume with the idea that once those are paid, then whatever's left, his company is gonna retain it.
Right. That's my understanding. That's the reason I asked last time for an accounting or it's in the escrow account.
Yeah.
That's what.
We've never heard that number. I haven't heard it.
We're entitled to
Yeah.
8% of
because it
the
was in
balance.
do you
And
remember the
part of
contract
the
that we signed
reason
with
for
them?
that is there's a gag order. So nobody has ever said exactly how much we got. Because if we stated in this meeting, we've blown the gag order out of the water.
Right, cause if they negotiated at 65%, then the providers are not gonna come back and take 50%.
Right. Well, the gag order is so that no one knows what Gerber got out.
I can honestly say, I don't know what that is.
And my understanding was, and Judge, you can correct me if I'm wrong, because they gave a pot of money to settle all of it,
Right.
not just ours.
That's right.
And
Everybody.
we have a percentage of that pot to pay ours. Now, he's obviously going to get a percentage for
We
having
promised
done
him a
this for
percentage of
everybody.
what he could save us.
But don't you remember, it was in the contract, that we signed when we first went, and, I mean, it was spelled out. If, the lower they negotiated, the more money, the longer.
Yeah, well,
Have medical liens been filed against employees? Does anybody know if the collectors have filed medical liens with the clerk's office?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, the statute's out now. Been out
they
for a
can't
while.
do that. It's 2 years statute of limitations on.
So that's what he's
Medical
doing,
bills.
that's what he's doing, he's trying to get 100% of everything. tell the collector instead of not authorized to collect. So we're gonna get presented with everything.
Well,
That's what I wonder, because he said some stuff was paid, and then one of our employees called and they said, no, it has not been paid.
Well, I hope he's not playing both ends against the middle, but I will protect you. Okay? By that I mean, in my business, my name's on that list. If I don't take some collective action within 24 months of the service, then I can't collect. I don't have any right to collect. Now, is he using that, because we're well past that, and now he's gonna, negotiate a settlement, it's gonna be excess money, is he gonna take 6% from somebody else and 6% from us?
Well, I think what he's gonna do is try to go these people in policies for a suit, for collection suit against them, and we matter of law saying they're not authorized and stuff.
But we didn't
What
have.
needs to happen
We
is
didn't have.
people in this deal that we're in, it's the insurance company's fault, it's not anybody associated with this organization, it's at fault. It's performance health and Gerber that screwed this up. As far as I'm concerned, we're paying them.
And he's not.
Now we're paying them to do what they should have done in the first place, and we don't have an accounting of the balance to do. I mean, we might as well be standing on our arms and everything, just on our side, their pocket. There, I have, I'm just, I've been battling insurance companies for 49 years, and hadn't won yet. Because everybody wants to pay less than they agreed to. So, if my understanding is right, we have asked him, or we would like to have the 50% of the outstanding balance paid to people that haven't even signed the contract. Is that true, or is that
Oh,
not?
just those three pieces. The rest of them, he should pay them 100%. That's what he just said.
He did say that,
He
he said
said like, he gave the doctor's group, which I was looking at it, I didn't realize you were in it, but you were in that group, you're in that doctor's group. And then I looked up here because I noticed that there's two different amounts. There's a paid, there's a billed amount and a payable amount. And those are different.
They always will be, whether you're in receivership or not.
So, you know,
They always will be.
But basically, he said he'd go ahead and write doctors, but in reading his email, what he said was, he thinks some of those have already been paid. And he wants to double check it before he pays them again.
Some of them have been paid, some of our people have been reimbursed for bills that the insurance company turned around and paid. Is that not correct?
I'm not defending him by any means, but while I want our people paid, I don't want to double pay somebody for something.
Hey, to get singly paid out of an insurance company's paying, but imagine double. But I think the
Tell you
approach,
what an insurance company is.
well,
It's the
like I
biggest
say,
deal
I've been
there
doing
is.
this 49 years, I never got 100% of what's considered fair and acceptable. I don't know who figured that title up. But that's what the insurance company says, fair and acceptable. Fair for who, acceptable for who. It's always less than. Back to our problem, I think that we basically told him to pay the 50% to everybody, and then we're gonna leave it alone till we hear from them as to what's not been paid. And I would hope at that point in time, we'll get an accounting of the escrow account of what money's in there. And, how long do you wait? That's the question.
I don't think you'll ever see that.
No.
And I'll tell you why.
Oh, no, because they got it in their hands, that's where you see it.
The reason you'll never see it is because they're always gonna say it's a part of the entire conglomerate that's sued. It's not your money, it's not Crittenden County's money. I don't remember, was Rick off one of them? Clay?
I think there was
Okay. So there were like 7 involved. And what they're gonna say is that money belongs to all 7 counties till we get this all settled. If somebody's not pushing as hard as we are, they ain't paying their bills.
Would it not be subject to FOIA, escrow?
What?
Would it not be subject to FOIA, escrow, even if there's a gag order? I still think that's subject to FOIA discussion.
I doubt it, because there is a gag order. And this settlement was technically, was it between us and Gerber, or was it between Performance Health and Gerber?
at the latter. But it's
So
money,
they are not subject to FOIA.
but the escrow account should be, because the state's the beneficiary. And if you did a FOIA, there would be a third party disclosure, so I don't think the gag order will be in play, I think it's just one of those.
That,
When it's not a gag order, it's just a non-disclosure.
Non-disclosure. Maybe.
that would be a Jake Holmes question, don't read this.
But at this
That's a
point,
problem.
knowing what's in the but knowing what's in the escrow doesn't really help us anyway. I mean, that doesn't solve a problem.
And the good news is that we're at an amount now that the county can easily.
If we had to just write a check.
We can
Right.
do it. I mean, that's the best news I've heard in a long time.
Right.
This is a certain, I mean.
Especially if he's gonna take care of the
Yes.
50% of the
Yeah.
$63,000.
A month ago, when we were talking about bringing this back in-house,
it was,
I figured
$6 figure
the
number.
amount of work it was gonna take, and we're talking about over 150 different individual phone calls or contact lines that we had to make. So you can imagine in the beginning, and then multiply that times the other 7 counties and the other, corporation that's involved. It was a huge undertaking, and, but we are at the end of it. My suggestion is we wait and hear from finance sometime in the future about where we are. I think that it'll be hurried up and finished now. And then if it's not, we'll get with Jacob and we'll explore what our options are, and then we'll move forward with that.
I mean, at worst case scenario, if we did double take some things to get, and we're talking about just a couple of $1,000s and for us to be done, right? I mean,
well, and that's what he said. He said, and he said, if, this, we're not talking, past the 63, we're not really talking about much money, and so he'll just pay it.
Well,
Yeah.
the
Which is
50%
what we
was
told
only,
2 weeks ago.
the 50% is only at 49,000 based to those 3 companies.
Yeah.
So you're
49
basically,
plus 63.
yeah, you're basically, you should be paying out about 14,000 in full to those other groups.
I can see this finished up in a day or two.
Yeah.
If we want to.
and
Yeah.
I think leaning on him, I think that very first meeting that seemed very futile though, I think I think it actually did, either whether that meeting did or it was just a matter of the timing. But I do think we have come a long way from that meeting.
Oh, I
It
do
doesn't
too.
seem that way.
Yeah, I do
But
too.
you know what I mean? Like whether that lit a fire under him or just the timing of how the money finally got released happened.
I think if you go back
Even
to
just the
our
last one that
original-
I've attended, it's kind of.
I think if you go back to our original agreement, his was, I'm gonna try to negotiate these down. Everything I negotiate them down, I get to keep.
No, that's what you, I mean, usually,
Well,
I don't know
got a
if you say,
percentage of
That
what he
was
said.
his pay.
no, he gets,
He gets
You
what
you
he
just read
negotiated
the
down.
contract, he gets, because in the beginning, I remember us reading it, and we thought, well, as long as the county bills get paid, then we're okay with whatever we can keep. And
He got a flat fee.
You mean we put up
Because he was just,
$650? You gotta get out of it.
No, we didn't, no, that's what they got out of,
The settlement, not
We-
our.
like, we
We haven't
paid,
put up any money.
no, I think
We
maybe
put in a little bit. but
a little bit of just what the paid
There
claims
was-
were.
there was some that, there was a percentage that we knew. we
I think it was like
were gonna have
120,
to
130,
pay.
wasn't it? Our portion was like 120, 130?
How much,
About 120, 130,000.
is how much we paid?
Well, that's what they told us from the beginning, we were expected to pay. We paid out, counting the employee reimbursements, like 111,000.
So roughly, we paid about 20% of the total claims ourselves. Roughly, it might have been a little bit more. Because 650,000, we paid about 120,000, that's roughly 60%. Or, I'm sorry, 20%. But that, the judge agreed with me on that. We did put it in there. Whatever he negotiated down, he gets to keep. So he's gonna make off of
Yeah, for
We're
him,
not getting paid by the hour.
49,000.
Right.
We've
that's
been paid twice.
He's gonna make about 25, almost 25,000
Well,
off that
and
negotiated.
being associated with Performance Health, he's got the manpower to do that. I mean, if you got the manpower to make the initial billing, you've got the manpower to follow the billing. You know, they didn't hire anybody else. You know, they should have done this anyway.
It's kind of like the judge said, if we looked at it and said, look, we'll pay you X amount of dollars to take care of this, if I've been doing it 3 days. Cause he,
All I
You're
want
trying to
Kelly
save
to
his money.
do is tell me when she's through, and then it's my turn. It's my turn. And I still say, and the only way you'll stop me, if you all tell me to stop, we need to go through the Attorney General's office, we need to go through the office. So even though these people in our situation, not covered by our own insurance commission, we can keep them from selling insurance and stay on it. So. And I guess maybe that's not a religious motive, but I just don't think these people ought to be able to do drug business. They've been paid twice. Look what we've been through. I wasn't even here in 2019. But it's been hell for the last year trying to do the right thing for people that work for us. Anyway, anybody got it? I guess we got a plan. And Kelly, keep me posted, young, and if you got time. I know how that is. And what we'll do, and you all mumble this over, this committee needs to meet on Friday afternoon. It's killing me. And for Friday afternoon, I can stay all afternoon.
And that shouldn't be a problem in the future, we were accommodating.
Well, let's think about it. We've been accommodating, and Reggie's tired of being accommodated. Anybody have anything else to bring up?
sounds like your next major meeting will be starting to look at insurance for next year.
Next thing we're gonna do seriously is we're gonna have some people come visit with us that sell insurance. They're gonna broker for us and take us off the hot seat. We don't know. I don't know, and you can't possibly know how to write an insurance broker. We need somebody on our side to do that. And we don't have to pay them. And we don't have to pay these people when we get them. The people that they sell the insurance for pay them.
Well, that's what Steven's been doing. We've been doing.
But I'm gonna say this, I don't like
But
the
they
advice
end up
Stevens gave
self-insured.
us last week.
So it was, I wasn't on here yet, but I was coming to the meetings.
And
They never one time said the word self-insured, ever. In all the meetings I listened to, they never, Justice Bird was, they never said self-insured. Never.
That's a bad word. We got somebody like them. I mean, most insurance companies, if they take us on and our premium doesn't pay, what the expense is, they pay it and up our premium to catch up next year.
Which is fair, that's the way insurance works.
That's why.
And there is no bargain in the
No,
insurance.
I mean, that is absolutely the way it's worked for 100 years.
And that's the only way.
Well,
But we didn't get a chance to do that. They just hammered our people. They didn't pay anything.
well, what they said, they made, I mean, like I said, I just was coming to the meetings listening. What they made you believe was that there was gonna be all of these counties involved in this, and it was gonna be like group insurance, and like maybe your county wouldn't have, maybe you have a bad year this year, and I have a good year, so my good year will pay for your bad year, and vice versa. But then, when we really got into it, they said, oh, no, that's not how that works. You're still off on your own.
And then they threw out there, Gerber is gonna underwrite
Right.
all.
Yes.
The
It's
That was our biggest joke.
Who made the contract with Burke?
Service
Did
thing.
we make the contract
We
with Burke,
thought we
or
were
did
safe.
Performance Health make the deal?
They made the contract.
Yeah.
So there you go again.
The county was caught in the same situation several years ago, but it was because the reinsurance company was crooks.
Yeah.
But when we heard Gerber,
We thought Gerber was reputable.
then you assume big company, everything gonna be okay and everything, and that really, I don't think the county would have bought it unless
I don't either.
Gerber was involved.
It sounded real.
Well, the reason we looked at it was because Blue Cross was going up 12%.
And they were in St. Bernard's network.
That's right.
Yeah,
They
oh,
were
that's right,
pushing that real
yes.
That's
big.
right.
And all these other counties
And
that
we
were
paid
in
the
it.
12%.
So we thought, well,
There is
surely
no
there's
bargain.
no way all
We need to
these
get a good
counties can
insurance
be
company,
wrong.
make sure that they're
I don't-
under the,
I don't have a
regulations
problem
of
with the thought
Arkansas.
process that you got.
That's exactly right.
What I have a problem with is what they did
Oh,
to this group.
Yeah.
And then didn't pay.
that's right.
Only people that paid is people we're looking at, is people that work for us. That's the only people that did their part. Plus be a pain in the butt like, bookkeeping, oh, well, anyway, I could go on, and the next time we meet will be on Friday. I'd like to get some people, come by and talk to us about brokering insurance.
Well, I was gonna agree with you on that. I think maybe it is, Stevens, really gave us some bad information.
Listen, Steve's guy burned himself with me when he sat over here that day, and I asked him about prior approvals, and he said that their doctors needed to be sure that these doctors here practice quality medicine. If you remember, I told him about this so many weeks across the way, gonna slap me.
Might not have been here.
Because number one, I'm interested in my patient. The doctors that work for the insurance company are prostituting themselves for the insurance company. Come on now. You have to figure what their interest is.
Was that Stevens group that day, or was that the group that was trying to sell us the supplemental stuff?
I think that's Stevens. It was the
I don't think
supplemental
here
group
was
was
if
different.
we dealt with the other.
The supplemental one? Yeah, I know he was here when we were dealing with the,
I wasn't
yeah,
here with
he
that.
was too, when we were dealing with the, what's it called, like the
Or
the
what
workers'
besides
comp and
disability.
Kinda like
yeah,
the
disability and all that
Yeah.
stuff, yeah, I thought that was the people that was at the table that day when we were having that conversation, I don't remember what actually
I
said.
don't know.
I don't think we
Stevens
said-
was here that day.
Were they?
Yeah.
Okay,
So.
but I didn't, okay.
No, I do agree though. There's some other brokers out there that I think.
We need
work
more than
with us a
one.
I
little
think
bit.
we should get at least three.
Yeah, we need
here
to-
to look at it. I think they all need to be licensed or sell insurance in the state of Arkansas.
Well, I think
That
so.
way
That's
they're
something we
covered
got
by
to
them.
do. We got to be sure when we get a bid from somebody, we can call the Arkansas Insurance Commission, and these people are licensed in the state of Arkansas.
Well, I think that's fine. We've always gone with Stevens. They're a big company in the state of Arkansas. I just think that it may be time to look around. I mean, they did not give us good advice. We could have really been.
I would like to look at somebody that some of us know.
Well, the company that we deal with, not the broker, but the insurance company needs to be big enough and established enough that they don't have to rely on reinsurance. Both times we've been burned on the reinsurance part.
And I think that's the problem with somebody local and not a large firm, I don't think we're gonna be able to find that.
Well, they're all selling Blue Cross Blue Shield or
Blue
Cigna.
Cross.
You see what I'm saying? They're all gonna. I mean, we're gonna stay with one of the bigger companies. But we just need like the middle person, the broker, to be able to talk to us and talk to Kelly in a way that we can all understand and work for the county. I met with Stevens and I felt like, they're not really working for us. I said,
They're aloof.
that's a great word. I like that. Yes, they
Well,
sure
are
are.
we locally
Yes.
that,
Yes. I
do we
mean,
have any local options?
Yeah.
I
yeah,
mean,
there's a guy,
okay.
Farm Bureau sells Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Well, I knew that, I just didn't realize that they wanted this type of
Well,
contract.
there is a gentleman, and I call him a gentleman, there's a company out of Paragould that does municipalities,
Let's make a list.
Yeah.
Let's make a list and try to find these people.
No, I mean, this was a guy that I just randomly found when I was upset with. When I was upset with Stevens, but yeah, so there's all sorts of people out there, and I think, I agree with you, I think we should potentially look
We look
around.
at somebody broker for us, and that's our best interest.
I agree with that.
Period.
Well, we don't need to wait until it's time to start picking pot, we need to start doing that
Well,
now,
we
that
start
process
doing it
now.
'cause
Right,
our
right.
insurance renewal is in November.
Every one of them are gonna see
Yes,
our
and
loss
we'll need to
ratio.
start on that
Well,
about
we've
budget
actually,
time.
yeah,
Yeah,
actually.
So, right, so if we need to start figuring out who we're gonna choose.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you the way it always ends up, they're gonna wait, they're gonna wanna see our loss ratio for the past 12 months, and that puts it, they end up selling it in December.
Well, that's what I'm saying, we got to predate that.
Yeah.
So, this is the year to do it, because last year we did great, so.
Well, what we did, it wasn't the last minute last year, we had to take what we had.
No, I'm talking about the,
Off track.
yes, the loss ratio for the last 12 months has been,
Some, and you never know from year to year.
Yeah, so this would
Evidently,
be the-
2019 was a terrible loss year.
Yeah.
We went through 2 or
But
3
you
years
know,
where we had over
you
$2
can't
million
control
in loss.
No.
You can't control that any way, form, or
I
fashion.
mean, you're gonna have to have have to know the average, and you're gonna pay an administration fee, and then there's no money left, that's just the way it goes. And if we're gonna get our premiums down, we're gonna have to get a healthier county government.
Healthy county government, but remember, when you buy insurance,
Well, I mean-
do not
You know, I
Premium
know, I
buy.
get you,
look for service, do not premium buy, cause you don't get it.
Do not, no, I agree.
I'd
with
rather
that.
pay upfront, know what it's gonna cost.
Yeah.
And what our people are gonna get, and then we'll just bite the bullet and pay for it.
And all of these major insurance companies, you know, they all operate pretty much the same way. I noticed an article just a few days ago, if y'all remember, about a year and a half ago, all of a sudden, all of the major companies are pushing Medicare Advantage plan.
Oh,
The greatest thing in the world, get drugs and all this and all that. Then I noticed about 3 or 4 days ago where the federal government is upset because the Advantage plans, see, there's a key to that Advantage plan.
but they didn't tell people.
They didn't tell people.
Some of these Medicare Advantage plans cancel your Medicare.
And they put you in a group where you don't have a choice about where
And
you
you
go.
can't go who you want to see.
That's right.
You got to call some idiot like that guy sitting over here to get approval for an MRI or CT. Now, the great news about Medicare is, I don't have to call anybody.
You can go
I think
anywhere.
they need it, they can go any place they
I still
want to
think
go.
that's been, even
Stay
though
with
we're playing, it is the
Medicare and
best
a
plan
supplement
we got.
and stay away from the
Yep.
Advantage plan.
I mean, that's the best thing, and that is what, like you said, that's what brought our claims kind of in check a little bit, and I really think this is a good year of shopping. I do. I think.
Well, we got time, now.
Yeah.
This is May. Let's work on this on a monthly basis and get some people in here. And then maybe even get somebody, what's the guy's name is retired that you want to do business with? You remember?
Exactly. Keith Ford? Exactly.
If he's retired, then he ought to be a guy we can get to help us look at what we're trying to buy.
Yes, definitely.
You know what I'm saying? If you got somebody that's in the business and doesn't have a card in the game. But anyway, we got to depend on the road.
Yeah.
Huge.
I agree with that, 100%.
We
Well,
should know. 'Cause it
yes,
should
yes, I agree, yes.
But the Medicare Advantage plan was on television. They
Jason
called
did
it
receive
telephone.
that, information.
The people that least need to be messed around.
Did we get the response from him?
And
No,
retired
that's
people.
right.
They made it sound
hammered
like
with these
And then he was sent
No,
that
it's a,
Monday,
it is right, yeah.
Tuesday.
I entertain a motion to adjourn.
We, maybe we'll
Second.
touch base with you.
All in